So today is Wednesday, right? We are really friendly.
Yes, sir.
How's your penny? Are you good?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We're all good.
So now it's time. Let's start our class. But before that, please rise for our prayer. Can you please lead the prayer, Mr. Yes.
Alright, so let's bow our head or pray. Father in heaven, thank you for this day, Lord. We are sure that at this benediction of our discussion will be successful. Lord, thank you for your love, and your peace forgive our sin, and be with us with your spirit. And thank you for this moment, Lord. Hopefully, Lord, successful discussion. Lord, thank you for you always guide us, and thank you for everything. And this is all I pray in Jesus' name.
Okay, class. Again, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mamutamlay kayo. Again, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you may know teacher said. So, I'm your teacher, Carlo Ibarra, but you can call me Sir Kai, okay?
Okay, sir, Carl.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hosina, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, um, before we start to our topic for today, I would like to give you and share our class roles, right? So our first class roles is, as a student, we need to be friendly, right?
Yes, sir.
Number two, be a good listener, especially when you have a discussions to happen. Then the third one, raise your right hands when you have something to say. Then the last one is rehearse to yourself. Okay, so guys, don't be pressure. I'm not strict kind of instructor or teacher, but that's only part of our teaching, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we start, let's check our attendance first. So, no one's absent, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Good. So, before we forgot, who wants to give a lot of insight or wants to recall our last sessions or our last topic or which all about what? Yes, Mr. Husin?
This is our first topic, which is what is technology.
Yes.
So, technology comes from the Greek word techne, which means craft or art. And another definition is refers to methods, processes, and devices used for practical purposes. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Hussein. So that's all correct, which the definitions and example and technology. And now, before we start in our new lesson for today, I have preparing some motivations, of course, but it's only mind games. I give you a lot of sentence, so directly I give you the instruction that please listen carefully, class. So our instruction is like this. I'll give you a lot of sentence. Then in your mind, in your thinking, by the especially, so Mr. Kevin, you should use this book, which is the group, Miss Hussein and Mr. and Miss rather, Miss Mirans. You are in the group one. So our instruction is, I give you a sentence, then you should relay to your classmates, especially at the back, if what I mean in that sentence. Okay? You get it, guys? Class?
Yes, sir.
Same. Okay. The first one sentence, take your book, take note. The first one sentence is communication is blank of education. Okay, I give you 1 minute. I give you 1 minute. Okay, time's up. Yes. Yes, correct. Backbone. Give me that. Clap, hands. Group 1. So, busy luck next time, group 2. We have another activity later. Pwede pa kayong bumawi, right?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
So now, let's move on. I think we have an idea. So, but before that, our topic for today is all about process of communications. With the objectives of the first one. Ms. Mirans, can you please?
The first objective is training the process of communication.
Yes. Number 2, Ms. Barsaga.
To understand the communication education process.
Yes, thank you. So now, let's move on. We have only 2 topics. In our discussions, in our activities, in all sessions that we have to do now, I just found these 2 objectives in our evaluations. Maybe later, malalaman natin kung ano. So now, let's proceed to our topic. So our topic for this morning is all about process of communication. So guys, without looking at in the board, in your own, what is in your thinking or any ideas, what is communication process? Yes, Mr. Yes.
For me, sir, communication is the process of information towards the use of meaning. At this time, there's a lot of things that we can use to rely in communication, rely information and communication with the use of some technology that can what do you call that can transmit more information from the other people or who wants to give you information from them.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kevin Reyes. That's correct. When we talk about communication process, we use about technology. But now, let's define the meaningful definitions and what do we call that? The most applicable definitions and meaning of communication process. But your answer is almost correctly. Right? Alright, so now let's proceed. Communication is the backbone of communication. So are you believe? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Education and learning cannot be imagined without communications. Yes, maybe it's right. Because without communications, educations cannot function. Why? Because teaching and educations is all of communications. Lahat napapanood sa communication with regards and teaching or we are teachers. Like me as a teacher, right? I give a lot of conversation. That's called communication. Yes, right, Mr. Jose. Communication is an English word. It is developed from a Latin word, communis. Developed a Latin from communis means to share. Tama. Communications give information, exchange ideas, which means to share. Diba? When you give an ideas, when you give an information, wag lang sa pangumudigo guys, wag lang doon. Sa pangumudigo, or when it comes in examinations, for example, wag nyo gagawin yun. Because that is unethical. Okay? It can be said communication is the process in which people try to exchange views to each other through general awareness. So in our general awareness, di ba, nakakalalim. Which means yung communication talaga yung nagpapalalim o nagbibigay ng hiwaga sa teaching, sa education. Tama yun. Communications refers to the mutual exchange of information and ideas. So like I said earlier, before, if you give, if you have in a mutual, to give an exchange informations, that's called share, which is communications. Okay? Did you get the point, Galas? Okay lang, hindi mabilis.
Yes, sir.
Let's continue. So now, in communication, we have two models. I think, I'm not sure if it is familiar with you, but now, I should share to you and discuss. Communication is social process which establish human relationship. Human relationship, ha? Strength, them, and develop them. Communication process is bounded in social structure in such way that is not possible to imagine a social life without communication. So what does it mean? Yes. What do you think, what does it mean? Communication is a siyang process which is involved in ating human relationship. In our human relationship. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are not getting to know each other.
Without communication.
Right, Mr. Yes. Yes. We cannot. Tama. We cannot, hindi natin mauunawaan ang isang bagay without communication. Connect ang communication sa ating
Human life.
human relationship. Yes, tama. Human life. Human life. So let's move on. Communication process is being displayed as a simple model. So now, this is the model of process of communications model 1. So I give you a time to look the graph in the board. At least 1 minute to familiarize. 1 minute only. Time is up. Okay. So when I give 1 minute, sa palagay ninyo, ano yung nagpapakita dito? Paano ito nag-evolve in our life? Do you think in what? So, sasagutin natin dito. Yes, Miss Bundak, do you have an idea? Sige. Yes, correct. Through exchanging of information. Tama. So, but now, let's define it. According to this model, the person who sent message is the initiator. In this model, who is the initiator? Do you think?
Source of communication.
Correct. This is the initiator. Sorry, class, I'm not good in writing, but I'll do my best. Initiator. And the source of communication is the initiator of message.
Yes.
Then codes the message and sends. The message is decoded at the place where it was sent and forwarded to the receiver. So where is that? Saan natin itukoy doon?
Encoding.
Encoding, sir.
and
And
decoding, which is yun na yung receiver. Tama? And the last one, receiver gives the feedback if necessary. So nandito na siya. So yun tama. Tamang-tama na kuha. Which is, the model 1 is described and showing exchange of informations. Ano ba? Do you think what? Exactly, exchange of informations?
The feedback.
Yes, the feedback, of course. Feedback. This model gives feedback.
Yes, sir.
Feedback to source of communications. Okay? Nakakawan nyo guys?
Yes.
Class? So let's move on again. We have another one model, which is the model 2. So, let's proceed. This is the model 2. Process of communication model 2. Nakikita ninyo? Mabasa ninyo? Okay lang? Okay. Process of communication model 2 in the above. So, directly, dito na tayo sa kanila definition para malaman natin kung ano yung function na bawat isa. Okay. In the above model, the person who convey message such as teachers. So, where is the teachers in this one? The exam. Sender. Yes, correct. This is the teacher. Tama. Teacher. Di ba? And mutual and discussions, mostly, talaga yung nagbibigay ng message is the teacher. So, continue. An effective teacher and teachers and students strive together to communicate. So, when the teachers give sender, which is nagpo-formulate, it compose, formulate, formulates, encode, transmit, message, then mag-encode siya and transmit. Which is the message na. Yung sinasabi na?
Sender.
Yes, tama. Thank you. Which is yun na yung mga sign and symbol and etc. Yun na, doon na pumapasok yung mga, kung ano yung sinabi ng teacher. For example, teachers give you a lot of activity about role play. So, mag-send in June, which as a student, mag-formulate tayo, mag-compose which formulate includes transmit message, then gagawa na tayo ng action. Tama?
Yes, sir.
So, proceed. So, learners, tayo na, should be transmit and decodes, enter, feed. So, doon na yung lalabas yung i-perform na natin, which is performance. I-perform na natin siya. Then, magkakaroon ulit ng message to our performance, to our showing our activity, di ba? Magkakaroon na naman ng message pabalik sa sender. Medium, which is magiging medium na siya. Why medium? Which is generalized na siya and actual na nakikita na ito ng sender, which is the teacher. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Did you get the notation? I mean the point of our model to. Saan ang mas madali? Model 1 or model 2? I mean, saan yung mas nagustuhan ninyo into models? Yes, Mr. Jose.
I think for me, sir,
Yes, sir.
model
Yes, Mr. Jose. Can you start?
So for me, sir, the easiest model of this communication is model 1, which is the passive communication. Let me give you an example.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you an example about calling through cell
Yeah.
phone. Source of information or source of communication, the sender, meaning or the initiator, and I told the which the message by the nakalog ka lang, yung sinalita ng initiator. And the medium of process, nagpa-process na siya through radiation.
Yes.
And then the coding the message we receive. That's the decoding.
Yes.
And then the person who received the decoding message, which is what we call receiver. And then the receiver replies to the sender, and that's what we call feedback.
Yeah.
And they are replying each other.
Yes. Actually, the example of that is example of this model is in the cell phone. First one, when you call it to your loved ones, to your families, especially at this time, we are pandemic, we have a lot of lockdowns na we encounter. So in that communications, in this model, we are showing that.
Yes, sir. That's
Tama.
good.
Of course, and radio. Radio. Paano kaya sa radio?
There's no feedback.
There's no feedback.
Just a sending of communication.
Only sending of communications.
Yes.
Yes, correct. How about when we talk about when and television? Do you think we have a feedback?
There's no feedback.
Why?
In terms of cross communication, there is no feedback. Because
Yes.
we are not interacting with each other.
Yes, correct. So, meaning to say, class, this model is applicable and like of your example, calling. Yes, because we have interaction or feedback
Yes.
to happen. So, did you get the point?
Yes.
Are you okay? So, yun. That's all. So now, I have prepared some activity which is regards in these two models. And yeah, in these two models. So I have two. Kanan. I have two preparing cartolina na I give you a lot of time, 3 minutes. Give a word or only one word na nagbibigay ng connections and contributions in our topic, which is the process of communications. So maybe this line, yes, and this line. Okay, make a circle. One word only, one word. I think kaya nyo naman to in 5 to 7 minutes only.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll do our best.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy your class. Okay with class, ha?
Ano ba ito?
Okay, one word.
Process of communication.
Oh, wait for a while, class. Maybe I should tanggalin ko na to. Okay lang?
Yes, sir.
Pasok ka.
Sir, may I ask?
Ano din ang
And
What?
we receive the instruction of our
Okay. Sorry for I'm not clarifying.
Yes.
Ganito. Umili kayo ng isang word na may connection and contribution sa process of communications. Then, explain it. One word na nga, one word na. Guys for your performance, excuse, gusto ko lahat kayo magsasalita, ha? Nagkita tayong 5 to 7 minutes magsasalita. Ito na simple lang lang. Phrase, ideas, regards in our discussion. Okay, tanggalin ko na to. Okay lang, class?
Yes, sir. Okay lang po.
Okay, last 4 minutes. Yes?
It's not function.
Goods too. Ako yun, nagsishare kayo. Kasi nga sabi diba sa ating topic, communication process is all about changing of exchange of
Change lang.
informations.
Hindi use yun. Bilo ka na. Parang yan. Di ba nakita ko may hindi ba natin lagay ko ng cloud. Kaya nga, speed. Ano sila?
Last 2 minutes, class. Last 2 minutes.
Okay, sir, we're done.
Okay. Just
We're now done.
Mr. Hussein, can you please?
Okay, sir, no problem.
Yes. There's walang continuity. There's no process. Ito, hindi na nag-rest. Kasi,
Okay, are you done? Go. Class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's maybe you should stand up. Maybe the first want to perform
Kaya
first.
na lang, kaya na lang.
Okay, please.
group 1, sir. I think we are group 2.
You're the group one, we are the
Okay.
group two.
Yeah. I think the group one will not prepare me so much. Okay. Okay, class. Tingnan natin sila. Okay. Yes. Okay, kasi, okay. Good morning. Good for what? So I observe you, I observe you performance class.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates.
Good morning.
From the bottom of our heart,
Yes.
we choose exchange
Yeah.
that relate communication.
Yeah.
We choose exchange because it's related in our topic. And also, we also choose exchange that refers, because it refers to the process of communication. Because without exchanging communication, there is no process. So without exchanging information, it ends with a period. For example, in online class, when a teacher discuss and ask for students, so if the students are no feedback, so parang nonsense, kasi parang period agad yung, parang ay, kumbaga, period agad siya kasi nga walang exchanging, kumbaga walang feedback.
Yes. Okay. So if there's no feedback, okay. So for me, exchange is the from in terms of communication, exchange is very important. You know what? For example, in our class, this session, okay. So teachers and students exchanging their ideas. Okay.
Yes.
So what ideas from teachers he or she shared from the to the students, and the students will also give them the idea to the teachers. And if they learn about the teachers what gives, that is the process of communication through exchanging ideas and knowledge.
Yes.
Right?
For additional po, we cannot communicate without exchanging information with other people. So, just like what you said po, sir, kanina, example, sa teacher, hindi po makakapag-communicate yung teacher without exchanging information or ideas.
And
All in all,
all in all,
Yes. Okay.
all in all, sir, we choose exchange kasi nga yung communication is hindi siya natatapos, continuous po yung process.
Oh.
meaning, ano po siya, basta po siya, wala po siyang katapusan, it's forever. Yeah, lifelong process po.
Okay, class. Thank you so much, Group, for your wonderful performance, for your presentation. So, now let's watch the group number 1, which is Mr. Hussein and Miss Siti. Okay. Okay. Bagay kayo.
Good morning,
Sir,
everyone.
and good morning, classmates.
Good morning to
We choose the word conversations because it involves two to three more than people, which is exchanging and sharing their views, opinions, and other things. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your good performance. So, tama naman, we're all good and talagang napaka-appropriate lahat. We are all appropriate to your knowledge, your learning about the process of communication, exchange, and conversations, which is talagang, yun talaga yung bumubuo sa process ng communication. Sabi sa part 2, exchange, communication process is what? Infinite. This is infinite. Wala siyang katapusan. It is continuously involved. And then, to the, ano naman, sa conversation, which talagang parte talaga siya ng process of communication. Kasi we cannot, sabi ko nga di ba kanina, we cannot understand each other without conversations. Which is, stand as communication. Okay? Okay na?
Yes,
Nakuha niyo yung
sir.
topic natin. So, thank you for your participations in our activity. So now, let's move on to the symbol, to the context, of communications. So, our lessons will not end in that activity. Now, let's define the context symbol. Symbol is something that stands for something else. This symbol can be verbal or non-verbal words. It's also a symbol. So, yes, give an example of verbal. What's verbal?
Sir,
Yes.
verbal communication?
Yeah, sir. Verbal
Yes.
communications.
So for example, right now we were talking about the communication.
Yes.
It is an example of verbal communication. Yeah, we
Yes.
act personally. Yeah, we it's not like non-verbal communication, right?
Yeah.
Non-verbal communication is via action.
Yes.
And verbal communication is talk. Yeah, we speak.
Yes. So you make
That's it.
thank you so much, Mr. So Mr. Reyes means that the verbal communication is in a process. For example, this we have remote teaching to happen, or inside the classroom we have teachers and students to discuss each other, which is verbal. How about and non-verbal? Yun na, nasabi na di ba ni Mr. Reyes, non-verbal, which is you showing action, symbol, gestures. For example, this one, gestures. Diba? Then, yun. So, alam niyo na, di ba? Alam niyo na yung symbol. So, the second one is encoding. Encoding is a process of using symbol to express ideas or feelings. This deciphering message. So, encoding is ito daw isang process using symbol to express ideas or feelings. So when we have visual conversations, we use encoding to express our ideas and or feelings. So yan, medyo nakukuha natin siya. Which is yung encoding is yung sender. Tama, the process of
Yes.
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 Tama. So, decoding. Next one is the decoding. Decoding is a process by which the receiver, the symbol transmitted by the resources. So, yun na yun. Transmitted na siya from sender to the receiver. Okay? We discussed before. Then the fourth one is the feedback. It is an acknowledgement which the receiver sends to sender after getting message. Yun, kanina, umita kay, di ba? Which is yung rotation ng starting from source of communications to receiver to give feedback and back to source of communications.
Yes, that's true.
Yung receiver, the last and final is a person who gets the message and the communication process. So, for example, kami ni Mr. Reyes, we are talking about I give something, I have problem. For example, I have problem which is emotional problem. I share to him, which is siya yung magiging. Yes, correct. That's we showing in the receiver. So that's all. Ito nataka na natin. Ito kanina yung usage, yung verbal, and channel.
Okay na.
So commonly discussion or basic discussion nila. So now I have a question to your class. So in this part, communication, feedback, encoding, receiver, including who wants be the last receiver of usage. Who wants be the last? And the cycle of process of model communication in model 1, wala na dyan yung wala na yung graph. Who is the last
I think
receiver?
Feedback.
Yes, very good. Feedback.
I think feedback.
Why feedback? Feedback because it is not only received. It's not only received.
Yes.
It's not only received. Kasi yung final message is nandun na sa kanya. Source of communication, encoding, medium of communications, which is the third, which is source of communication, the first. The second one is encoding. The third one is decoding. The fourth one
Yes, the
is
center.
receiving. And then the last,
The center is the medium of the process.
yes, the medium in the process.
Decoding.
Decoding, then receiver. Thank you,
Then
Mr. Kevin, then
feedback.
for correcting me. Then the last one is the feedback. So that's all, guys. So we hopefully talagang naintindihan ninyo yung
Yes, sir.
topic natin for this
Definitely.
morning. Thank you, thank you. So now, I have, evaluations.
You cannot.
Wait for a while, class, ha? Oh, this is our evaluations. Number 1 question, can you please read Miss Barsaga?
Question number 1. What have you discovered in well-being education?
Number 2, Mr. Reyes.
Which of the model impose the effectiveness of learning?
Number 3, Mr. Russo.
What is the true and deep meaning of communication?
Yes, number 4.
How communication influences skills and knowledge in the student?
And last one is
How can communication develop the process of education?
So, these evaluations is talagang yung magsasabi sa atin kung ano yung mga natutunan natin, which is the learning natin. It's like with summarizing yung mga natutunan natin, yung learnings na nakuha natin regarding on our discussions. Okay, class. This evaluation should be your assignment, okay?
Yes, sir.
For your clarifications, just ask me maybe for the next of our discussions.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
next week, because it's on Friday. Next week, our class is only Friday, right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
but other than that, we have also preparing some assignment. Okay? But it's not, hindi naman ito mahirapan talaga. Which is, kailangan nyo lang na, wait for a while. This one. So, in your assignment, search some ideas about instructional design and advanced, take note class, ha? Take note class. Search some ideas about instructional design and advanced reading to our next topic. To our next topic on page in your book.
Page. What page, sir?
Wait for a while. On page 29 to 36.
Okay.
Again, I repeat the question, class. In your assignment, search some ideas about instructional design. Maybe you should copy na lang because I have prepared. Okay, that's our assignment. Search some ideas about instructional design and advanced reading to our next topic on page 29 to 36. So, that's all, class. So, So I think we are already done. So that's all for today, class. Goodbye, class.